Donald Trump is an evil man, and so are you. At least, that's what the archaeology says. What the heck am I talking about? Oh, you're about to find out, and if you watch this video to the end, it might be sounding crazy too when you say there's a tribe in Africa so old that when the Egyptian pyramids were completed, they had already been on their lands for 50,000 years. Or how Africans conquered Spain. You know, basic stuff everyone should know about the Black continent. Tighten your seatbelt, I'm about to blow your mind. Hi Entertainers, and today I'm going to be looking at 10 fascinating African tribes, and they are probably not the ones you think. You know what? Why don't you guess which African tribes you think will make the list? I'll wait. If you are new to the channel, hit the red button and the notification bell too, so YouTube lets you know the minute we release a video. Number 10. The Tutsi, also called Batusi, Tutsi, or Watusi, ethnic group of probable Nilotic origin, whose members live within Rwanda and Burundi. The Tutsi form the traditional aristocratic minority in both countries, constituting about 9% and 14% of the population, respectively. The Tutsis' number in Rwanda were greatly reduced by a government-inspired genocidal campaign against them in 1994. However, the Tutsi first penetrated the area in the 14th or 15th century, entering from the northeast, seeking new rangelands. Though they were skilled warriors, they obtained dominance over the resident Hutu through a slow and largely peaceful infiltration. The Tutsi established a feudal relationship with the Hutu, gaining dominance due to their possession of cattle and their more advanced knowledge of warfare. At the head of the Tutsis' complex hierarchical political structure was the mwami, king, who was considered to be of divine origin. Tutsi expansion continued until the European colonial period of the late 19th century. They retained their dominant position over the Hutu in Rwanda until 1961, when the monarchy was overthrown. In 1994, the Tutsi considered work with a whole demeaning and made their living by owning and dealing in cattle. The Tutsi adopted the mutually intelligible Bantu languages, Rwanda and Burundi, which were originally spoken by the Hutu. The Hutu and Tutsi adhere essentially to the same religious beliefs, which include forms of animism and Christianity. Number 9. The Sun. When you use genetics to trace who fathered who, you can actually get to the man who was the ancestor of every single one of us, from your Twitter racist bigots to the activists. And this man is who genetics call scientific Adam. The San Bushman's genetic markers on the Y chromosome are quite unlike any others found outside of Africa, he says. In the world's family tree, their branch is the first to split from the rest. That's how he knows they must be about the oldest tribe on earth. The San language has cliques. None of the other language families in the world have these sounds. The hypothesis is that these cliques have been lost in all the world's other language families except the language of which the San Bushman's language is one. And a group of Africans who lost these cliques left and spread to other parts of the world. The San live in the Kalahari Desert of the southern parts of Africa, mainly in Botswana, Namibia, Angola, and northern South Africa. Number 8. The Hadza. Away from Kalahari Desert and into the lush green plains around Lake Eyasi, it's the Great Rift Valley of Tanzania. The OG San people have a contender for oldest tribe alive because of all the people living today. The ones whose life resemble the way we all once lived are the Hadza. They still practice the hunting and gathering way of life full time, relying on no agricultural resources at all. They have lived there longer than any group of people have lived in any one place on earth. They are so ancient that when the Egyptian pyramids were completed, The Hadza had already been on this land for 50,000 years. They eat roots, honey, berries, and nuts. When they hunt, the animals they value the most are the eland, the giraffe, the zebra, and other small animals like baboons. Number 7. The Twa Pygmies. Remember Gatwa, Gahutu, and Gatutsi? Turns out some of the Twa are Pygmies, and this particular group of Twa Pygmies live in Uganda today. Like the Hadzabe, they often climb trees in search of food, such as honey and fruits. But these are not your ordinary climbers. What's stunning about the Twa Pygmies is how they climb. Scratch that. Walk up the trees just like a chimp would, the same you would walk on level ground. They start from childhood, and because it is their daily routine and part of gathering their food for that day, their ankles soon become crazy flexible that their feet can make up to 45-degree angles with their shins. Most people can only do 15 to 20 degrees. If you try to match a Twa climber, our ankles would tear very terribly, very quickly. There are levels to this thing. Number 6. The Dogon. In Mali, off by themselves in the cliff villages carved into the cliff sides of the rugged and isolated Bandiagra escarpment. According to oral tradition, the Dogon were originally members of the Keita family, a Manda-speaking group from the Niger River who fled their homes sometime between the 10th and the 13th centuries because they refused to convert to Islam. More on that in a bit. Some other accounts suggest they are more ancient. The Dogon people are animists. They perform many rituals in sacred places and with scared objects intrinsic to their mystical beliefs. So don't be surprised to see a sacrificed chicken on a rock here and there. But this is common to a lot of people around the world. Number 5. The Koya. The Koya tribe is a cattle-herding community with a population of roughly 700,000 spread across northern Tanzania. Juma and her wife, Mugosi, 49, are married under a local tradition called Unyumba Ntobo, meaning House of Women. The practice allows women to marry each other to preserve their livelihoods in the absence of husbands. Among the tribe, these female couples make up to 10 to 15% of all households, according to Koya elders. The unions involve women living, cooking, working, and raising children together, even sharing a bed, but they don't have sex. Its main purpose is to enable widows to keep their property. By Koya tribal law, only men can inherit property, but under Nyumba Ntobo, if a woman without sons is widowed or her husband leaves her, she is allowed to marry a younger woman who can take a male lover and give birth to heirs on her behalf. The custom is very different from same-sex marriages in the West. Most Koya people don't even know gay sex exists in other parts of the world, she says, especially between women. Number 4. The Himba. Further south in Namibia live the Over-Himba, another tribe of nomads. They are quite popular for their red skin. The red color seen on their skin is from the Ojite paste, a combination of butterfat, Omozumba scrub, and ochre, serving to protect their skin from the sun and insect bites. They are also guided by the belief that the color red signifies earth and blood. Rather than take their bath, the women take a smoke bath and apply aromatic resins on their skin. They coat their long braids with heat, retouching from time to time. When a visitor comes knocking, a man shows his approval and pleasure of seeing his guest by giving him the Okujepisa or Mukazendo treatment. This practice literally means that his wife is given to his guests to spend the night while the husband sleeps in another room. In the case where there is no available room, her husband will sleep outside. Number 3. The Igbo. Yet another tribe that is popular for dying en masse. The Igbos saw red in the Biafran War for trying to live as an independent nation. Besides Nigeria, where they are one of the 3 most populous tribes, Igbos are found everywhere. They have a saying, "Any place where you see no Igbos settled is a place you should run from." The most popular version of the origin of the Igbo people is that they are descended from Eri, a divine figure who, according to Igbo folklore, was sent from heaven to begin civilization. Another account presents Eri as one of the sons of God. Yes, God the son of Israel in Genesis, who traveled down to establish the present-day Igbo land. Different historians have contended otherwise, presenting archaeological evidence that insists the Igbo did not descend from anywhere. Number 2. The Mandinka. The Mandinka are the descendants of the Mali Empire. Hunters from the Ghana Empire founded the Mandinka country in Mandin. Their origin of the Malinke is said to be their mythical ancestors Kontern and Sanin, the founding hunter brotherhood. During the rule of Sondinta Keita, the kingdoms of Mali were consolidated, and the Mandinka expanded west from the Niger River basin under Sundiata's general Tiramakan Traore. During the rule of Sundiata Keita, the kingdoms of Mali were consolidated, and the Mandinka expanded west from the Niger River basin under Sundiata's general Tiramakan Traore. Traditionally, Mandingo society was divided into 4 main groups: the nobles, who were members of royal household or potential holders of power, such as great war leaders and their family members; the commoners, who were farm owners, traders, clerics, and marabouts; the caste members or artisans, such as griots, blacksmiths, carpenters, and leatherworks; and the slaves. Only the nobles and the commoners were considered freeborn, but the griots had a special place because of their unique relationship to the ruling class, as they represented the collective memory of the tribe and village as oral historians. Number 1. The Bebas. Tuareg, Moor, Amazigh or Imazigen. These words tell of a people, ancient and powerful in conquest, the Bebas of North Africa. Did you know St. Augustine of Hippo was a Beba? Yeah, of the Beba kingdom of Numidia. Today, the 2 largest populations of Bebas are found in Algeria and Morocco. In the Sahara of southern Algeria and of Libya, Mali and Niger, the Baba Tuareg number more than 2 million. From about 2000 BCE, Berber Amazigh languages spread westward from the Nile Valley across the northern Sahara into the Maghreb. By the first millennium in BCE, their speakers were the native inhabitants of the vast region later encountered by the Greeks, Carthaginians, and Romans. Berber merchants and nomads of the Sahara initiated a trans-Saharan trade in gold and slaves that incorporated the lands of the Sudan into the Islamic world. That's all I've got for now. Come on, I want to hear what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe by smashing that red button like an almond toad, and I'll be tapping you personally in the back when the next video drops. Yeah, like it, share it, and see you in the next one.